We'll go ahead and get started here. Today we're going to be talking about MBD, which is model-based definition. But for now, we'll get started with some introductions. My name is Keith Morris. I'm a technical specialist here at PDSVISION. My background is in 3D design, additive manufacturing, animation and rendering. PDSVISION is formerly known as Boundary Systems. We are a PTC global reseller and a technology leader in that. We offer software solutions for developer and design and manufacturing as well. We have some help desk and consulting capabilities as well. This just showing you here just a brief timeline from when Boundary Systems started in 2006 up until recent years, and this is just showing how we've expanded and grown over the years. These are our partners, PTC. We also have Keyshot, Moldex 3D, just to name a few others. This is basically our what we live by as a company. Digital thread is something that provides it's a comprehensive approach to the application of PTC software suite, and it's relative to the intersection of individual applications like Creo and where they're utilized in the manufacturing process. So this graph is just showing the pipeline that goes through that. It's a philosophy that leads to reduced time to market, reduced downtime in production, reduce costs, and it increases in overall manufacturing efficiency. So that's just some background about myself and PTC and PDSVISION. All right, so MBD, which is model-based definition, it is the process of storing all the detailing annotations on a 3D model rather than a 2D drawing. MBD is not to be confused with multi-body design, which I don't know if any of you know what that is out there, but when MBD is said, it's being referred to as model-based definition. So let's get into some demonstration for you guys. So I have a part already up here. I'm just going to touch on some basic interface things here. When you open a file, you all know it's already on the model tab. To up here above the ribbon, there's a annotate tab. And then when you choose that, you have over here to the left a detail tree. I don't know how many of you have done drawings, but this is also something that you see in drawings. A detail tree starts to lay out your views and your annotations as you're creating them. Up here are your annotation planes. There's flat to screen, front, top, right, back, bottom, left. This one was a created one. You can also create an annotation plane by selecting a reference like a surface. Over here in manage annotations, you can select a reference and have annotations show up like dimensions. And then over here in your annotations section is where your tools are to create new annotations. Annotation features allow you to manipulate those annotations. These annotations here are created by selecting references on the model itself. And then down here you have your model tree. Up here in the top left, where it says combination states, this is important to keep in mind. When you're doing a 2D drawing, you're creating what's called you eventually build sheets. Each sheet has something different on it. It might have several different views and different annotation types. You might have one that has family tables. Well, in part mode, when you're doing this here, this is similar to that, as it's creating these tabs down here that are called your combination states. So you can already see I have some of these. I have one for geometric tolerances. I have one for notes. I have another one for surface finishes and symbols. So we'll go through some of those in a bit. So as you're creating your annotations, it is best practice to, so you can have an organized view like you would in a drawing. You always hit new and create a new state. So that's what we'll do now. This is the same thing you would do for each combination state tab you would want to do. So I hit new here, and you can see down here that it added a tab. It's easy to miss. You might think, oh, I hit new and it didn't do anything. It did. It just added the tab down here. If I right click this, I'm going to rename this to dimensions. So that's just the view we have right now. And then I could get into start creating some dimensions. So up here, if I select the, first I want to be sure, before I get into that, I want to be sure what plane I'm doing this on. Right now my front one is selected. By hovering over it, you can see that grid that goes over the model. If I go away from it, you might think it's deselected. It's not. It's just showing you what plane is currently selected. This is important to, these arrows are important to keep in mind. The the light arrow, kind of the whitish bluish arrow, I don't know how it guys looks on your screen, but that is the direction the text would be going, and so that's something to keep in mind. And so if I have, I'm gonna keep the front plane. Actually, I'm gonna select the right plane for this and get into my default orientation. So if I select dimension, I'm gonna do right plane. Have right plane selected there. I'm gonna hit dimension. I'm gonna switch my reference collector here to surface. I'm gonna select this one, and I'm gonna control select this end one. And right there, I have my first dimension. When it does that, you middle click to place it. If I hit cancel on the reference collector, then I have the ability to move this around and put it where I want it. It snaps to the center. So that's one dimension. I could do another one. Still have the right plane selected there. I'm gonna keep it on surface. I'm gonna do this one and this one here. And now I have my another dimension placed. Cancel out of that. I'll add a third one, keep surface selected. I'll do from here to here, place it. Now, if I wanted those arrows to face the other direction, I could select this, hold down my right click, and there's this little icon up here. If I hit that, it flips the arrows, and now I have, now it looks more visible to what that dimension is there. I'll do another dimension here I want to show you I'm going to switch this reference collector back to an entity as opposed to a surface. and I'm going to select this edge right here. Now, I want this to actually show diameter. If I select that and I go to dimension text, it has this menu of symbols. So the diameter symbol, I have prefix right here, and this is where suffix would go. So left is prefix, right is suffix. I have the diameter, close out, and now I have added that there. I'm going to go to my front plane, have dimension selected. Right now it's giving me the radius value of that, and that's not what I want. I want that to show the diameter of that hole. So if I click on this up here in orientation, I could change that to diameter, and now I could leave that out there, or I can choose to put it within the circle there. So you're already seeing how quick it is to just make annotations on the model like this. You have your 360 view in part mode of these annotations right now. And this is without having to create multiple views to get certain dimensions. I have this view, I have this view already just all within here. So it makes it very easy to see all at once. So you can continue on, and there's the plane all the way down here where I would select this, and I can choose to put a note right on a surface right here. So that would be a note that would be under this tab. But one thing of importance, once I have this, say I'm done dimensioning here for now, you want to put the part in a pretty visible state where you can see all these dimensions. You could still rotate around it, obviously. Be sure to hit update here in the top left, and it is now saved or updated my dimensions. So I'm gonna switch back to my default view, which has nothing on it. If I switch back to dimensions, it goes to that view, and now you see it has the dimensions I put in the view I have. Let me touch on these other ones here. So let's see what notes looks like. If I click on the notes tab, these are various types of notes. Here's what I was talking about earlier, where I placed the note right on that surface. This could be a part number, probably what I would assume anyway. You could do a leader note where it's calling out a surface or something on the model directly. An unattached note is nice. It just places it freely above something, above the model, somewhere in this space that's not really calling out a model, but something of relative importance. Another thing you'll see is a note like this, where this is what I have selected as the flat to screen option. So that's the plane I placed it in, because as you can see, as I move around, that note isn't rotating like the other notes. It's not rotating with my view. So usually this is something of extreme importance. They might have this in every type of view. And you notice it's a different color. You can change the font style, you can change the color, it can be bold, the size of the note as well. So you have all that flexibility as well. So that's what we have with some notes. Geometric tolerances. So you have here what's called a datum tag, and this tolerance is calling that out. So I'm just going to show you real quick. If you wanted to add something to a view, you can absolutely do that. All these annotations could be gone back to and changed in each view. So if I wanted to add a datum feature symbol, Let me select the right plane here, actually. This is going to be my front plane. Datum feature symbol, it's a tag. I'm going to select this surface. That's going to be B. I could go back to this geometric tolerance. I'm going to interject here real quick. The lines are kind of hidden right now, but if I select the tolerance or the tag, you can see the surface or the area it's highlighting. So I've got this selected. This is where you add your datum tags inside your tolerance. So I'm just going to hit B, and now it's calling out B as well. There are under geometric tolerances, if you want to change its type or its characteristic, that's under this menu here. So there's flatness, circularity, angularity, perpendicularity, parallel. If any of you are familiar with geometric tolerances, I'm assuming you know what these mean. So if you change the type, it'll update it here on the left side. I'll just change it here now. So angularity, that changes the type there. This is where this right here is where you enter the tolerance value. So that's just editing it there. If I can hit update on this, and it's going to save the view there. So some surface finish. Surface finishes are a type of symbol. So I just did these for example. You can change the numerical value and what type of surface finish it is. There are a lot of within the system or your working directory. There are a lot of symbol types in Creo's gallery. It's the same thing with your symbols here. This is considered a symbol, and I wanted it placed right on this surface. And usually it has a little note within there too. I didn't type that note. That is just a symbol that was either created or within the system gallery. Custom symbols you can create and also annotate your model with that as well. So that's all I'm going to show you here for the demo. What I want to tell you are some benefits for MBD. One major, probably if not the most major benefit, is it provides a better collaboration across your business model, and it makes accessibility and sharing a lot more fluid. You could also share the model with other businesses. So if you are using something like Windchill and you save this part with 3D annotations, it makes it a lot more shareable. It reduces time because as you saw, you're annotating the 3D model rather than setting up your views, creating the sheet and setting up your views, and then creating, sheets with more views. 2D drawing files could get very tedious and lengthy. And of course, on a more complex model, that could as well with 3D annotations. But since you're doing it within part mode, you don't have it. It significantly reduces the time to annotate or detail something. You have the ability to view annotations separately within the graphics window rather than relying on switching to or printing out several sheets. A lot of companies print out or plot their drawings, and it's a lot of work to do that. So I won't get into this here, but you are able to put your 3D annotations on. You're able to export it to a PDF. And then as you saw within the demo, you have the three 360 view of the entire 3D model that's relative to the annotations. So just the ability to easily see and clearly see the annotations within the model while you're scrolling around it, while you're moving around it, is very fluid. You don't have to worry about creating, separate views. So those are some major benefits of MBD. So with that, I'm going to look at some questions here. I have, let's see, there looks like there's one here. Wasn't a question, it was more of a comment. So if you guys have any questions, there should be the ability to type one, and I'm able to see those questions. So I'll give some time for that, and I could answer them as they come. So to your question, Henry, typically, yeah, you wouldn't have, you probably would not have to create new dimensions, because as we all know, when you're creating the model, it gives those loose dimensions, and then you make them strong dimensions later. So in that case, yes, you actually would just use show annotations instead, because then it's just redundancy. You would be creating dimensions or the annotations that are already there. So it's actually better if you do use the show annotations method, because they are already there. And I just wanted to show what that would look like, using the dimensions as an example, because that's the same process you would do for other annotations types as well. It's all the same in terms of you select what type of annotation you're doing, and then you're selecting references, and then you're creating a new annotation that way. But for dimensions, you can use show annotations, and then it'll show up as a list, and then you pick from that list which dimensions you want to show. So hopefully that answers your question. Saul, looks like you have two questions here. Oh, sorry, Tyrone. Yeah, I could. The first question was just asking if is creating dimensions preferred over showing annotations. So that's what I was answering in that first one. Let's see, Saul's first question. Are those annotations, can they be pulled from the part file when converting it into step or IGS format? That is something I'm not ultimately familiar with. I will have to investigate that beyond this webinar, and we'll have to reach back out to you guys. I say you guys because if there may be some questions that I'm addressing like that. And then Saul, your second question to how to create section views with annotations. That is something you can do. It's not something I covered here on the demo, but we can absolutely get back to that to you as well. We do offer, if you're with us as a customer, we have a ticket system, and we can have a ticket open for you to do a demo if you're within our system. So that could be scheduled as well to have more focused, but you can do section views with annotations. Thomas has a question. Can you use parametric driving dimensions? You would use whatever, kind of how I was answering Henry's question. You can use you use whatever dimensions are created initially when you're making the model, but to just as a one answer to your question, yes, you can use driving dimensions. And then your other question, Can the MBD be used on detailed drawings? Well, so they're two different categories. MBD is essentially the 3D version of detailed drawings. They're two different categories of features. So MBD as a whole is we're doing the same thing as we would be doing on a detailed drawing. It's just within the 3D part mode view. So to kind of elaborate that on a little bit, what I think maybe your train of thought could be that, and this might have to do with section views and simplified reps and things of that nature, which you can do on a detailed drawing and it is something you could also do in MBD. So I just want you to understand that detailing and drawing is its own feature, it's its own thing, and MBD is its own class as well. They're ultimately doing the same thing, but detailing and drawing is 2-dimensional and MBD is 3-dimensional. Brian, can the files only be shared with Creo users? Are there any neutral formats for dissemination? That is something I will have to get back to you on. I'm the first part of your question, and again, we can find out for sure. But I assume that yes, the files are only, because this is a feature type within Creo MBD that's specific to Creo. It would only be able to be shared. That part file would only be able to be shared with other Creo users. And even though this is not something in the demo, what you can share is a PDF. There's a way to export an MBD to a PDF, and that's obviously something that can be shared. As far as thank you, Henry. As far as the dissemination question, we believe that Creo View is free to use for that purpose. But if you still need further clarification, we're jotting down which questions we're going to have to get back to beyond this webinar. So looks like we're up to speed on the questions. If you guys have any more, please feel free to. Hopefully the questions I did touch on, the ones I was able to answer. If there is not any further questions, I think, hold on, a couple more coming in here. Thomas is just leaving a comment here, and for the step format, API 242 step format is meant for MBD information. So that's kind of referring to the shareability of the file. Brian is asking, so the PDF, would that be multi-view? Obviously, the PDF can't be manipulated. In the end, yeah, it depends what views you want on the PDF. But yeah, it would be, if in the end it provides you for something to print, something tangible that's on a document. So that's why there's that ability. So yes, there would be the ability to have multiple views on. All right, does anyone else have any other questions? Looks like some people are starting to drop off here, but that doesn't mean I have to call it unless we don't have any more questions. I just wanted to give a little more time. Well, in that case, I'd like to give everyone a big thank you for being a part of this. And this isn't the only place for questions. So if you do think of any beyond this, there's my email information for technical questions. But we also, if you needed to get in touch with sales, perhaps maybe a class that covers this, there's sales@pdsvision.us. And thirdly, this is huge. I always refer our customers to this. We have a huge YouTube page, and it has a significant amount of information and resources for PTC and Creo. So please, I strongly encourage you to check that out if there's anything that you need to. So you don't have to sift all of Google. You can go right to our PDSVISION page on YouTube. Thanks again for everyone joining today. And I'll hang out here for a little bit longer in case there are more questions, but I believe that would bring us to a close here.